Good day, everyone. We had some technical issues with Facebook, and we've been going over the mind. I'm going to touch, now that he's got it going, I'm going to touch back just briefly on the mind, and we're going to continue on with the lesson we're doing. We're doing the sixth sense. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you for really taking the time to invest in yourself just for a little bit. And the truth is, if you invest in yourself a lot, you can change a lot about yourself. And the truth is, everything about yourself is getting you the results exactly as the way you're getting them now. You know, if you're facing a time where you've gone as far as you know how to go, if you're facing a time where you're sick and tired of doing the same thing over and over again, if you're facing a time where you don't know what to do next, you're in the right place. This month, we're talking about intuition and the power of intuition, the power of the sixth sense. And I'm going to remind everyone, all year around, we're going to be teaching Napoleon Hill's Laws of Success every month. This next month, we're going to be teaching Definiteness of Purpose, and that's going to start. We teach these classes every day throughout the month, and we do a 3-hour seminar once a month, English and in Spanish, and we are going into the subject of each law of success. You get the opportunity to really learn more about yourself and how to change the thing that's giving you the results that you're getting. Clearly understand you can only go as far as what you know how to do. And the problem with most people, they never learn to go farther than what they know. Listen to what I'm saying. Yes, rewind it again. The average individual never learns to go beyond what they know. But that's exactly what would take them beyond where they're at. Now, I'm going to touch briefly just on the mission of the company. What is our mission and our vision? Our mission is opening institutes of the mind globally and help them by leaving something for the future. So I'm going to be opening up a foundation, a nonprofit foundation as well. And in that nonprofit foundation, we're going to be helping people open institutes of the mind globally. And that is our goal. Why? Because every second a child is born and another elder leaves, or in between those ages. The thing about it is, in between the period that we're born and we leave this earth, this is our time to exist and to live the way we truly desire. I want to get one thing straight to begin with. We are spiritual beings experiencing a physical reality. So many people that start to become enlightened immediately come out of their body. They become more spiritual. That's great. Becoming more spiritually aware brings you recognition that you are an essence inside of a body, living to and through a body. You're the mind that thinks through this body. But the issue is not stepping back into the body and taking control. And a lot of you have felt this, but you don't know how to change it. And every time you step back in, there's something inside of you that denies and says, who do you think you are? You know you can't do that. Or maybe you're not worthy of that. Or maybe you don't have the intelligence to do that. You're not smart enough. And all these things, these beliefs that we tell ourselves. How many times does that happen? Every time your spiritual awareness, your higher consciousness comes in and says, you know you're more. You know you came here for a reason. You know you were meant for more. And then on the other side of our same consciousness, we have this thing that keeps telling us, who do you think you are? Well, I want to invite you to the recognition and wake you up that you are perfect. Each and every one of us are perfect. It's the beliefs that we have inherited, that's right, inherited, that makes us believe that we're less than who we want to be. We judge ourselves, we judge other people, we judge our circumstances, and we literally believe that we're not good enough. I want you to stop doing that immediately. Take a real good look at yourself. Shake that idea that you're not worthy. Shake that idea that you're not good enough. I can tell you from my personal experience that if I can change, you can change. And I normally don't share too much of my personal experiences, but I've been at the bottom, I've been at the top, I've been down low again, and I've raised back up again. I have consistently worked at improving my consciousness every step of the way because I know that there's always more. Now, I have gone from nothing to earning millions of dollars. I've gone from barely making it to making it big, to losing it, to making it big again. I have on purpose delved into my consciousness, set goals that I didn't know how to do, set goals that I have never done before. And I can personally tell you that every step of the way and every walk that I did was moving me into the direction of where I was supposed to be today. And not just today, who I'm supposed to be in the future. Every lesson that I have learned was teaching me everything I needed to learn to become the person I'm going to be in the future. And I do this every day. I work on me every day because it's the only thing that can change my life. And I invite you to take a look at what we're doing. I invite you to get invested and invest in your consciousness, in your mind. I've got people globally that are invested in their consciousness. And it's more often that I find people that are living in third world countries barely making it. And they're the ones that are investing in themselves. Their average income may be $200,000, $400,000 a month. And they're finding the way to invest and change themselves. And I've got people that have done 3 times their income. I've got people that have done 1,000 times their income. Why would somebody in another country be willing to invest in their mind, earn less money than they do in the United States, and winning royally? Because they're in worse shape. The country's in worse shape. They've invested in themselves and they've changed their lives. So can you. Have you ever wondered why in the U.S. we have foreigners coming in and shaking things up? Have you ever wondered why that the foreigners that come in, they step ground, they step their foot on American soil and say, this is my turn, this is my chance, and they win big? You ever notice that? You think it's an accident they're winning big? And here we have people that live here their whole life, their families, generations live here their whole life, and they're just barely making it. What's the difference? Desire, faith, belief. The only thing that makes one man different from the next are goals. That's right, goals. The only thing that changes one intelligence from the other are the goals that they set. That changes people miles apart from each other. It's the predictability of their goal-setting mentality. It's the predictability of learning how to do the things they have no clue of how to do, and the willingness to do everything they must do to achieve that goal. That is what makes the difference from one consciousness to the next, the goals they set. And I guarantee you, if it's a big goal, they will be miles apart. And what's in between that that's guiding them, that's channeling them? Intuition. You see, when somebody sets a goal, and the goal is bigger than what they knew, they know, they knew, they ever would have known. If they wouldn't have set the goal, they would have never have learned the strategy to go there. This is huge. Look at where iPhone has taken us. If the individual that would have never set the goal to go here, he would have never learned and found the intelligence to make this device global. It was a global goal that led to the strategy of creating a global unit, a measurable unit that you would see around the world. How is this possible? Goals set people miles apart. Now you may be wondering why you're living the way you're living. What goals have you set? Were they big goals? Were they medium goals? Were they small goals? Here's a big one. Did you even never really have a goal? Did you really even decide what you wanted? Or did you float through life just picking what other people are doing and what other people are saying? This is completely normal. This is not uncommon, and is very common in places that are fortunate. Why? Because as a society, we have made it easy to live comfortable. Not in other places, not in other countries. That's why they are more inspired for change, more inspired for growth, more inspired to change themselves, because the truth is there's nowhere in the world that they could ever work or change. Intuition is feedback. Intuition is the receiving set of your consciousness. Vibration is the giving set. Now, this is where we go into the mind, and this is where we get a better understanding of what is consciousness itself. You know, I'll never forget it. There was a day that I really looked around and I said, what the hell is going on? I looked around because I saw truth everywhere. And I was looking for the truth. And here I'm a little guy, and I'm looking for the truth. Why is this little guy looking for the truth? Why does he want to know what is consciousness? Why does he want to know what is spirit? Why does he want to know what the body is? Why does he want to know what makes one man different from the other? Because he was a little bit different, a little bit more aware. What is he more aware of? He was aware that he was consciousness in a body. That's what deviated my course in life. I was 2 years, 7 months, and I was aware that I was a spirit in a body. How was I aware? This revolutionized my life from that moment. Why? Because I have questioned everything I hear, see, taste, touch, and smell, because I have a recognition of other lives and other times. No one could ever tell me any different, because I've got memory. And at 2 years and 7 months, I had memory of living life and other bodies and other times. Now, you can never tell somebody something unless they've experienced it. Now, I had already experienced it at 2 years and 7 months, not just one time, different times. That recognition led me into the research and the development of where I'm at today, because I wanted to know what consciousness was. I wanted to know what spirit was, spirituality. I wanted to know, and I also remembered that there was a reason that I came here this time as well. I was aware that I had chosen different things on purpose, and every time there was a purpose for being here. It was never just to be here. And I remember coming in again this time, and I remember coming in and choosing to come on purpose, and that there would be a large purpose. And it would not only be my purpose, it would be the purpose of other people as well. That's why I'm here today. And that's why I'm giving the way I give. And that's why we will move in the direction of this vision. Why? Because I do things on purpose. Why? Because I was born with a purpose. Why? Because I remember that purpose. And I believe in giving back and living a life worth fulfilling. I believe in giving back to everyone I can and leaving something for someone else, because it is every man's divine right as a conscious human being to live to the fullest extent that they can. Intuition has guided me from the very beginning. And intuition will continue to guide me along this path. And yes, there's been days that have been gray. There's been days that have been dark. There's days that have been blue. There's been days that have been bright. I've had every day that I could say has been in every way. And I'm sure that this path will still continue on, because I'm always going into the unknown and willing to learn what I have to learn to go there. This is what has changed my life. And I continue to go back to the only place that I could ever change is something in me. Because I know that something in me has led me exactly to where I was at. Now, I can give you a short story of the mind and how the mind works. And I'll give you a drawing. And some of you have seen this. I'm not going to step into it because we've got lots to go over. And I've got a limited amount of time with you guys on Facebook here. But you guys get to get a little bit of illustration on the mind and how the mind works. The mind is something unseen. The mind is something you cannot watch, but you watch the expression of the mind all the time. How do you watch the expression of the mind all the time? You watch people's behaviors. You actually watch what they think. I always often say, I don't hear what you say, I hear what you do. Why? Because the doing part of your personality tells me who's really thinking. It tells me whether you're thinking or your program is thinking. How do I know the difference? Well, this is the conscious mind. This is our intellect. This is what we use to think, or we think that we use to think. This down here is our subconscious mind, which is the lowest part of your personality, also your cognition, your awareness, your memory that you use, your ideas that you use. You take these ideas and you begin to originate, create, think. This word we call thinking is called imagining. That's right. The word you call thinking is imagining. And as you imagine, you move this body in an orderly way and you move into action. Now, a lot of people don't know how the mind thinks, how it works, but this intelligence, mark you not, is thinking and it is creating a virtual reality. I want you to think about something. Think about all the images that you use today to create your reality, all the images that you use that this intelligence thinks with. We think in pictures and we think in images. Maybe for a couple of minutes ago, you didn't have an image of what the mind is and how the mind works. We only know, the average individual only knows what's happening out here in the physical world, which we call reality, 3D, and it's not. It's just what we experience. The reality, the true reality is happening over here as we think. Whatever this mind is doing, thinking, harboring, exciting, defining, moving, you don't see this part, this movement. We just see the actions that you're taking, what you do. I said earlier, I don't hear what you say, I hear what you do. Why? Because there are a lot of people that say something, but they don't do. Why? Because the doing part of your personality is controlled by the programs that are in your intelligence. You know that little thing that every time you say, I'm not going to eat that piece of cake, and then you go and do it anyway? You know, the time that you say you're going to go to the gym, and then you don't go to the gym, you don't do it anyway. Because there's another little thing saying to you inside of yourself, oh, come on, let it go. Let's go do this. There's another thing inside of you that's always contractually moving you back to what it knows how to do, what it's used to doing, what it wants to do. Not even what you want to do, but what it wants to do, what it's been conditioned to do, what it saw, what it looked at. All this programming, you see, we have genetic programming, and then we have environmental programming. All this programming created your DNA, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you act, and it created this environment. From that programming also gave you those intellectual faculties that you use today, that you use your mind to think with, to create with, to live with. Yeah, I mean, come on. Don't you live with yourself? Who's the last person you see at night? Who's the first person you see in the morning? You know, you normally look at your body and you look at yourself and you think that that's it, huh? And there's a lot more going on inside of that baby. Problem is you don't know how to control it. There's a lot of beliefs inside of this baby. There's a lot of beliefs that are telling you whether you're good enough, you're not good enough, whether you can do it or you can't do it, what dreams you will be successful in, what dreams you won't. There's a lot of beliefs in here that are controlling your perception, control behavior, and almost all behavior is habitual. And guess what? You're living this life you said you would never live. That's you. That's me. And that's everyone else. That's you. That's me. That's everyone else. That was a crash course for you guys because we've already given part of that. And also I touched on a couple more things for everyone else. What is this mind? It's not your brain. It's the energy moving inside of that brain. You know, they took Einstein's brain out. They put it in a jar. They thought they were going to find Einstein. The energy that left that created Einstein was gone. They didn't find Einstein. They found the brain. The brain is not the mind. The mind is what you use to think, to originate, to create, to build, to do things. Zach, are you able to put part of that slide on there? Okay. So here again, we got this conscious mind, subconscious mind, and we got this filing cabinet. That's what you use to think with. You know, a lot of you thought you were thinking, but you're now beginning to understand that when you think, actually what's thinking is you go into your filing cabinet and you bring in the group idea that you're thinking about. Whenever you fall into, relationships, you go into the great group of relationship, and then you pull in your father, and you pull in your mother's activity, and you begin to relate with those two activities, and then whoop, this information goes back into you, and then you're going to illustrate what you thought was love, what you didn't think was love, what you thought was, whatever it is that you thought was in a relationship for father and a mother, and that's exactly the way you act today. And if your wife does not act the way your mother acted and showed love the way your mother showed love, then she doesn't love you. And if you're a woman and you're female and you're thinking, this man does not love me, why? Because you're relating your relationship to what love is according to what you saw in your life. And if you didn't have a mother or father, it's hard for you to relate to it, to understand it, or you got the ideas for somebody else or from that group theory that you're thinking from. And as that group comes into your vibration, that idea, those facts begin to think, and then this body begins to move. That's right. I remember going and looking for my first job. And my father taught me a lot of good, and there are some things that I let go. One of them was a man needs to work hard. And my God, I worked hard majority of my life, and I still do. There's some ethics of it that are good, there's some that are not. I had the habit of working really hard and giving my all, but only being okay with little money. That's a bad idea. I remember working 18, 20 hours a day, working for peanuts. And while other people had easier jobs, they were earning double what I was. Why would I go and pick that? Well, that's what I was programmed with. And then as I started to progress and do better and improve, that mindset still stayed, working really hard, long hours, and then still earning very minimal. And I kept wondering, what the hell's going on? Why does this keep happening? Well, because there was a belief system in here, and that's the way I was acting, that's what I was finding, and that's what I kept attracting. You see, the intuition in that was perfect for my vibration. So this month we were talking all about intuition and how sometimes you use intuition, and man, that intuition is not what you want. But intuitively, you have been following it to the dime. Why? Because that's what you were programmed to do. You see, when you think, you activate cells of memory in your program, but the average individual goes to the program instead of going to a goal. Goals are not to get to the goal. This baby right here would set you free. Why? Because it would change you, and it would change everything you had to do and everything that you were, and it would discipline you in acting and thinking a different way. But no, you keep going back to what you know. The intuition works perfectly because as you go back to what you know, it sends you feedback and it tells you what to do. So the intuition is working perfectly for the energy that it matches. It's in perfect harmony. So many of you are trying to learn the law of vibration, learn the law of attraction. What you didn't know, that if you don't have a definite purpose, you don't have a definite desire, you will desire the information from the past. This is the goal. And your vibration sends out a vibration. You go back to the memory tells you what to do, and you keep landing in the same place day after day, week after week, month after month, and guess what year? The year end is every year. Over and over and over again. I remember repeating the same lesson for 4,200 and something days, I don't recall. 4,200 something days of working hard, getting paid little, and I repeated the lesson. I mastered that self-image for 4,000 days. Man, what a headache. But I was the best at what I did. I was the best. But they couldn't pay me any more than what they could pay me because it was a poor job. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I had picked a poor job that worked hard and earned little money. Even though I had mastered that area, nobody could do it better than I could. I had reached the limit of what they could pay me. 4,200 something days repeating the lesson. And here I'm mad at the world, upset at the world. I'll never forget it. I was working as a tire man. And I remember that night I hung up my pants and I was in sleet and ice, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., working on a combine stripper. And I could stand my pants, I could set my pants standing up. That's how cold it was. I'll never forget the night because I slipped and I broke the hammer, and the bill of the hammer came back and smacked me in the forehead. And I always say, who's ringing the bell? Well, that thing came back and it hit me so hard that I got so angry. I was frustrated and I was tired. I was sick and tired of being tired. I'd repeated the lesson for 4,200 something odd days. And I was upset at the world. But that recollection led me right back to that little child that was 2 years, 7 months, said, I'm spirit in a body. Remember who you are. And I remember those words, remember who you are. And all I could remember is those past memories. But it also caused me to remember that I didn't have to live the way I was living, that I had chose. That was the breakthrough. I didn't have to live the way I was living. By not choosing, I had chose that destiny. And I was three-dimensionally living that experience over and over again until I was willing to change. You see, nobody ever can change anybody. You've got to be willing to change yourself before anything changes. And then here's the biggest part of all. You got to admit to yourself that you don't know. You got to look at the man in the mirror and say, you're right, I did that. And that's what I had to do. I did that. I went back in memories and I remembered, I'm the one that chose this business. I'm the one that chose this job. I'm the one that held that self-image. I'm the one that walked into this thing, and I'm the one repeating it. Every day I hit the clock. Bam, I go and put on the same suit. I've got suits of that baby for 7 days in my closet. How in the world could I ever get out of that suit if I've got a suit every day to go put on the same suit, to go live the same experiences, thinking something else is going to change? My intuition was perfect at that time, but it led me the wrong way. Listen to what I'm saying. My intuition was perfect, but it did not lead me to what I wanted. It led me to what my program wanted, what I was programmed to be. And I said, no, never again. Never again am I going to let my beliefs, my ideas, the things that do not serve me control the way I live. Now I ask you today, how do you want to live? Do you want to improve your intuition? Do you want to improve your ability to think? Do you want to get on a higher frequency? Do you want to go beyond where you've ever been? Do you really want to achieve the life that you desire? Do you really want to live? I can show you how to go there. We can show you how to do that. Later on in the years, I went and studied with different people. I went and worked with different people. I knew I had found gold because it was changing my life. It's been the constant space repetition of learning this every day. It's been the constant space repetition of setting goals. It's been the constant repetition of becoming more aware of what I'm not aware of. Do I have to get up early in the morning? Yeah, but I promise you, it's better than repeating the same lesson for another 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 98 years, I have met people that for 98 years repeated what they did not want. Is there a better way? Oh, yeah, there is. Do you have to change yourself? You betcha. Will you have to work with goals? It's the only way out. It's the only way you go beyond yourself. Yourself is the problem. That's right. You're hearing me right. You're the problem. Goals take you out of what you know. And that's whenever you start getting the intuition from a higher consciousness, a higher degree, and you still start to get the feedback and the strategy. How do you think Ford brought his vehicles around the world? Because that was the goal. How did he get the strategy? Because the goal was to make every vehicle economically available for everybody on the planet. Because that was the goal, he arrived with the correct strategy, the assembly line that revolutionized everything. And here we are. The name Ford's a legend. Why? Because the idea was legendary. The strategy had to be. When we look at Edison, his ideas were legendary. They had to fall in the appropriate hands in the appropriate way. Look at every man, Einstein, look at every man that has set goals beyond what they know. They're being intuitively directed by a higher consciousness, a higher light, and a different strategy than what common people use down here. When Virgo is using their strategy, we get common results. These people were not common because they were using a different strategy. And this vibration was getting different information. That's right, different information. Never look at the word the same again. It's not information. Different information. They're getting different ideas. And therefore, changing the world, evolving the world, creating the world that you see today. Everything in the world that you see right now has been created twice. It was first in the imagination, then in form. There is nothing here today that was not first imagined in the mind of an individual that was willing to go beyond conditions and circumstances. That man has paid the wave every time for other people to follow, for other people to pay them. You see, they're working with a higher intelligence. If you want to find out what we're doing, if you want to learn more about what we're doing, if you're ready and willing to change yourself and invest in yourself to change you, you're at the right place. Take a look at what we're doing. Send us a message. We'll be getting back to you. Thank you, guys. And this is the free time for Facebook Live. We'll continue our lesson. Have a wonderful night.